And now, the special presentation.
When you're making one of these movies, you sit down and you go, okay, what do I think is cool? I love motorcycles. Then you see what John Woo does with a motorcycle.
I have a pretty good instinct about action.
It's got everything. It really has. It has stuff that I haven't seen before.
You can see Tom climbing a mountain, hanging from a mountain.
My breath was taken away. I've never seen anything so dangerous, so exciting. It really is. It's unbelievable. He wanted to do something crazy. Something he had never done before.
I've always wanted to climb, and I love climbing.
To do what he's done, and just this short, brief introduction with climbing, and then get out on like a 600, 800-foot cliff.
John was so nervous that I might plummet to my death, and then he would be held responsible. And I don't blame him.
I kept sweating and so much worry. I was so scared.
When we were down on the wall, just us two, he goes, "This is great. I can't believe this. Look at the views." You're thinking maybe he's going to be more nervous, but is my rope okay? And it's not. He's got into it.
Tom actually did the climbing himself. The rope is just a safety if he were to fall, which he didn't.
I've never had a problem with heights. As a kid, anytime I get to the edge, I want to jump off. I don't know what it is. It's subconscious. I don't want to kill myself. I want to fly.
Nobody, even the best retard, couldn't drop full speed and stop 4 inches from the camera, which is what we had Tom Cruise do.
It was a pretty high jump. It looks pretty scary.
It's fun.
He enjoys the thrill of it. He gets a kick out of it. So yeah, he likes it.
Here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, run!
That's fun.
He jumped right to the camera. His face almost smashed into the lens.
Do it again. I'll do it again. I'll do one more. One more.
It feels like a free fall. You don't even feel yourself stopping until the bitter end.
This should be the MI2 ride.
When you see the film, it would have been less a film if he hadn't actually done his rock climbing stuff and his, jumps.
I want to make it exciting for him. I want to scare him. I want to thrill him. And I think that that adds to it.
He wanted to do something like Bruce Lee. I said, great. That's what I'm good at.
The action is raw action. John Woo spent a lot of time studying and watched how I walked and the way I moved. So he designed the sequences around what I could physically do.
He does these amazing kicks. Flies through the air and smacks me in the chest and in the face, and then I just get up and punch him. And he did it. And he did it very beautiful and strong. Fight scene was great fun to do. Beating up Tom Cruise is terrific. I caught him a couple of times in his six-pack.
It's fun. That's why you want to make these movies. You get to roll around and get to do these wild things. There are elements to this that, John Woo really pushed the edge.
John's designed a lot of action in this picture that people have never seen.
John brings a lot of energy. Everything about what he loves to do is he loves to move the camera. He loves to introduce as much energy and as many shots into the sequence as he can.
That's why he's the man. He's the Woo. But it worked out. It really worked out. I'm still here.
The idea came from Tom, and he told me he liked rock climbing, flying planes, and like motorcycles, all that kind of thing. And by the meantime, we tried to use the scene to establish Ethan Hunt's new character. We wanted to create a new kind of hero, a person who really care about people, and just like the ordinary people, he enjoyed life. He had a lot of great passion about nature, about love, about everything, and also full of energy and full of life.
In the mountain climbing storyboards, the opening shot is to establish where we are. And the camera pushes in on the cliff, and you see this little speck, which turns out to be Tom Cruise. And so you see how vast it is, how big, how tall, and there's Tom in the middle of a little speck in the middle of this cliff. The storyboards then show a precarious moment where Tom slips the one hand. He's hanging by one arm for a little while, and then he eventually swings around so that he's facing outward. And that's we call the iron cross because his arms were straight out in a cross position. In reality, it would be extremely scary, but in the storyboard you can see he has a smile on his face, which that was John's whole vision here, is that this is nothing to him. Even though it's to the rest of the world, it's incredibly crazy and dangerous and scary. He's got no ropes. He should be like, feared for his life, but John wanted to treat this as, this is nothing. This is what he does for recreation.
I've always wanted to climb, and I love climbing. I'm always working with the kids and with Nick, and so this gives me a good excuse that I get to climb with, one of the world's greatest.
We had first brought in a climber. He's a world-class climber. His name's Ron Koch, just to teach Tom some of the moves and things so he could look correct. We thought at the time that Ron would be doing a substantial bit of it, but in the end he did nothing.
It's amazing how keen he is to go do this stuff and how relaxed he's and trusting.
The scary thing was the cliff was 2,000 feet high, and there was no protection on the ground. The shot really scared me, so I was sweating and panic.
The jump was a long jump. It was about 15 feet.
It was really a weird thing to look at visually because your background is 2,000 feet away, and you've got this little thing sticking out which matches the background perfectly. And visually, it's a tough thing to look at and a very intimidating stunt to do.
He liked to do something impossible,
Yeah, I can't say enough things about how impressed I was at his willingness to do this, because it hurts. It hurts. You're jumping down 15 feet on a rock in these little shoes, and it's beating up the bottom of your feet, and he does it over and over and over again until he gets the shot perfect.
The shot was so critical. We had 5 cameras on the top of the cliff, and we also had a helicopter camera. And from the helicopter, I need a real close to Tom. So the helicopter very close to Tom, and the blade, you can see the blade on the helicopter. It's very close to Tom's head. Just left. I couldn't bear to watch the monitor, so I was shaking and closed my eye, keep praying. God, please, keep him safe and help him, kind of thing.
I felt very confident with the team we had, and I felt confident that I could do it.
Tom had no fear. He had no fear. He seemed to be so much enjoy to do it.
That was...
Original idea was Tom, he come from the top of the building, running on the roof. Running, and do the jump with all in one shot, and running up to the edge and jump up to the building and descending down to the middle of the building. And then I suggest how about put it inside. Let's say the building have a long shaft and the top jumping into the hole and descending into the shaft. And get to the bottom, and also looks pretty spectacular, and pretty crazy stunt as well.
The entrance into Biosig starts out with Tom clicking into his carabiner and leaning out the helicopter. The idea is to get, for one, a dramatic entry into the building, and then in the next part of storyboards, he leans out further on the rope, and then he makes the leap where he's got to dive head down into these louvers, which are just opening for the 10 seconds. So it's a very intense, critical moment where his timing has to be, and aim has to be precise. The helicopter portion is real helicopter out in the sky. That's just for the lean out portion. When we got to the actual jump, it's actually on the stage with green screen. Well, we did it two places. There was a green screen background in which they put the background out, and then there was also a shaft which we built. Tom would do this decelerator down in through the shaft. The idea is he basically is free. So what we did was we turned it into what's called a decelerator. It's Tom was basically doing a free fall.
Here we go. Ready, in 3, 2, 1.
You would never get an actor to do that kind of stunt, but Tom was very insistent that he do all of his own stunts. He's probably done more decelerators than 99% of the stuntmen out there.
It's too fast, too quick. The ride's over too fast.
It's a very risky and dangerous stunt.
The actual stunt is in the fate of the riggers and the stunt coordinator and the cables and the deceleration system. So the hardest part is really maintaining the body position over and over again for every take that he does, and not breaking character when you're stopping 6 inches above the camera.
He did it, I think, probably 30, 40 times, head first, stopping a foot above the ground.
And he jumped like Peter Pan.
He's falling at whatever free fall speed in that time is. I mean, it's 32 feet per second. That's what he's falling. It's full speed. Everything's very precise, but still, it's still dangerous.
My idea was the whole building, they have a long glass wall, not like what you have seen in this version. In this version, it's all the concrete wall. So my idea was after he separated with Tandy, and then he blew up the window, and he jumped through the explosion. It's. But some people said, "Oh, he might be a little too much like a Superman," and Tom wanted to look real. So, and the production designer, he came up with the idea, how about to build a concrete wall? He need to blow the hole first, and then do a little action, and then jump up to the hole. So I'm okay with that, because since by the nature of Mission Impossible, we wanted to make it a little more realistic.
We start off with Ethan, Tom, trapped in the building in the middle of the gun battle, no way out. He throws the explosive, and then he shoots the gun to explode the wall to create an opening for him to escape. He runs towards the hole in the wall. We don't know what he's going for or after. There's a lot of smoke and debris. Then the camera shows Tom run past. You see it's Tom, and it follows him out the building and then tilts down to show the city below us. We ended up shooting the sequence on stage again. There's a platform that's 65 feet off the air with the set piece on it. He actually runs, jumps out the hole, free falls in the skydive position, and he stops about 5 feet off the ground where there's green screen all around so they can put the city in later. It's a stunt that not many stunt people have done. It's a traveling decelerator, and he's running out this hole in the wall and free falling 60 feet. And Tom did that quite a number of times too.
I tried to make it a little more of the evil, let them know, say, here I am, here I come.
Which I thought worked really well in the film. That was a CG bird coming through the flames.
It was too dangerous, what if the birds get burned,
And Tom walks through the flames. So the way that's done is flame bars are set to levels, and it's very hot. There's no doubt about it.
When you're doing a really intense fire stunt where you actually have a guy on fire, there's stunt gels, what they call them, which are fire retardant gels that have to be cold and have to be wet, and they don't last very long.
But it's a controlled situation where we bring up the levels of the fire and we create a path.
It was kind of a judgment thing for him. If you feel the heat, because we can't gel you up, it's, you know, it's a close-up on you. If you feel it, duck out, you know. Any doubt, duck out, because usually if you feel yourself burn, it's too late.
It was a very dangerous stunt. Of course, we tried to stop him, you know, to do that, but he would insist that it's a very good idea. You know, he said the audience hadn't seen this kind of action before. I always got nervous. You know, I was not nervous about Tom, nervous about everything. You know, it wasn't easy.
Driving the motorcycle through the flames, that's, again, normally you would always do that with a stunt double, but again, Tom wanted to do it. The flames are controlled by a flame bar, so you can set the level of the height, but there really is no trick to it. Basically, you ride through the flames.
You can't see past it, which is a really weird feeling.
Now, if you were to fall or crash and you're in the flames, then you're in trouble. So it's still a dangerous situation, but it's a good moment for Tom because it's, you know, you can do it in slow motion. The flames are there. There's no trickery. He's riding the motorcycle through flames.
He just never ceases to amaze the people that he's working with on what he wants to do for the quality of the film. It's pretty impressive.
To the car, which the stuntman driving, he sets the car into a slide and then he hits a button which propels his telephone pole. It's a piece of a telephone pole out through the bottom of the car and sets the car flipping end over end. The guy who did that is Gil Combs. He's done probably 40 of them. It's a semi-controlled situation just because of his experience.
I feel great. I still got the old adrenaline rush going. Be safe. Don't try this at home.
I'm a big fan of a Western. You know, the cowboy and the Indian, you know, the kind of thing, that kind of movie. So I was thinking, if you can use the motorcycle instead of a horse. I mean, the good guy and the bad guy, they're both on the horseback, you know, they're chasing each other, they're shooting each other, you know, but we are on motorcycle, and I think it was so, it feel more interesting and exciting.
The idea of the ski gag in the storyboards is that the bad guys are shooting at Tom, and in order to avoid them, since he's on a motorcycle, there's nowhere to hide. The idea is to jump off the side of the motorcycle and protect yourself, basically, with the motorcycle as a block. It's just a unique way to show his prowess on the motorcycle.
There was a real stunt. Tom insisted to do it by himself, you know, so he also did a real job and slide. You know.
We towed the motorcycle by a tow truck, which was a pretty horrendous thing to see. It was basically had a long arm that was a tow truck arm with a cable hanging by it, and Tom has a safety cable again in case he falls. And the idea is he's able to jump off the bike, ski, and if he were to fall, he's hanging by the arm of the tow truck. It's still difficult though. He's still skiing, he's still going 50 miles an hour, and his feet are still sliding on the ground, and he's doing the whole thing. He just has the safety backup of the cable that helps him not to kill himself. At the beginning, I hated it. At the end, I just loved it because it's so unique. It's a John Woo kind of thing that nobody else would think of, and it's his freedom with his mind that makes his sequences so unique and so fun to watch.
I wanted a moment like mano to mano. So I want to do a fight without guns. I mean, that makes them feel more of a heroic, you know. So, and when I'm talking with Tom, he had mentioned he loved Bruce Lee so much. He loves Bruce Lee's movie. He all the time that he wanted to do something like Bruce Lee. You know? That was great. You know, they gave me some idea, you know, to decide some kickboxing shots, you know, for Tom. You know, not kicking like Bruce Lee. You know, because for the audience, you know, they have never seen Tom do such a kind of action before. You know, it might be pretty exciting.
Storyboards with the fight give a really vague reference for what John wants. He shows him running, jumping, kicking. There's a knife flying out. He's kicking him in the face. We don't take this as factual at all. It's just a representation of the idea of what kind of fight it is. John will talk to me about what he wants the fight to be. And in general, it'll be very vague at the beginning. He'll say, you know, maybe a little bit of karate, but it's really rough and tumble. It's more, so he'll give me some vague ideas. And then myself and the stunt guys, in this case it was Keith Campbell and Billy Morse, will go out and rehearse a version.
About 3 months of videotaping ideas, showing them to John, and him going,
no. And then we'll change it. We just keep changing and changing and changing.
And finally, after 3 months of just trial and error there, getting it to what John and Tom think is the idea that they're really going for.
You know, even after we've worked on the fight for months, we'll get there in the day, and John will decide that the moment doesn't look right, and we'll stop, and we'll think of something different, and that happens all day long. So we're constantly revamping the fight all the way through it, up to the last day.
I guess maybe we kept it mellow before because it's like, okay, Tom's not going to be able to do this. And then on the day we go, okay, well, here's what we have in mind, but, you know, we don't know that Tom could do this, and Tom's going, I can do that, show it to me. And he does. So it got really wild, and Tom did some really wild stuff. In the full turn that sends to Greg into the rock, and just said, wow, well, what if I take it all the way to here and make the complete full turn, which just adds this whole dynamic flair to it. And then he did it, and it looked fantastic.
Tom did kick him in the chin. For real. And you see, play it slow motion, you'll see the sand flying off the guy's face, and that's because it's real.
Tom is so clever because he had never trained for it. He had never learned any kung fu or martial art thing, you know. He just watched once. He just see how the stunt guy do it, and then he did it by himself. So that's so amazing.
What it did was it gave the ability for John to really use his filming style, which is the slow motion on key moments. You know, you can watch the film and you can see, yeah, there's Tom, slow motion, flipping through the air, or doing this kick and landing on his back, and there's no cheating that.
It's just amazing how he can just, after putting what I call little time, meaning guys have done this for years, Tom does it for a couple of days, going, okay, what's coming up the next couple of days? He'll start working on those moves, and he does it. And they look so fantastic in the movie.
For Ambrose's character, is evil, is dirty, you know. So I want him to do some do some action in a dirty way, you know. So Tom, he gave us a gun, you know, but somehow this guy is so tricky, and all of a sudden he pulled out a knife, you know. He using a knife, and also mean, you know, and he just slashing and kicking me on the ground, and I came up with the idea, and Ambrose, he jump up in the air and land on Tom, and his knife almost cut his face, and also pretty close to his eye. But Tom said, hey, how about just right into my eyes? You know, I said, no, Tom, this is very, very dangerous, and we have no time to shoot the special effect because we gotta do the real thing. And I said, no, I'm okay, I'm fine, you know, just use a real knife. And then and come into my eyes, so more scary. I said, that's what I want, but I didn't want you to get hurt. How about just a little closer to the eyes, not right at the center, you know, and make it a little more safe. But he was so stubborn, you know, said, no, this is right in the eyes.
The knife in the eye was at the last moment. It was added at the last moment. John thought of that on the spot. He just felt, as we were doing the fight, he thought there needed a pause, and he came up with that idea. It's funny because a lot of people consider that one of the scariest moments. Now, we had a real knife that was really sharp and really pointy. There was no faking that. What we did do was we had a cable attached to the end of the knife, which was hooked to an overhead bar. So the knife could only go so far.
So the stunt guy grabbed hold of the knife, was shaking, you know, and I was shaking, and it was shaking.
That was just nerve-wracking. I mean, it was a basic scenario of, okay, we put a cable on this thing, we stick it to a frame that's not going to move, but anybody else want to lay there with their eye open and let the thing stop a half inch or a quarter inch from their eye? No way.
So the knife comes like this. It was real.
The knife literally was probably a quarter inch from Tom's eyeball. I mean, so if he sit up or move or twitch or the cable were to slip, or there's a lot of maybes that makes it an interesting shot to watch. But he did do that part with a real knife.
It was pretty scary, and I'm so glad to see that Jordan so much a great impact, you know, because Tom was really risking his life to the shot.
In order to do my job, I have to ask myself, who is Tom Cruise? What is Tom Cruise? Why is Tom Cruise? When is Tom Cruise? I think if you're going to be a really good stunt double, you have to really become one with the actor. You have to walk like the actor, talk like the actor, legally change your name to sound like the actors. I don't think of myself as a stunt double, really. It's more like I'm a stunt one bull. I don't think Tom's going to want to do that kick. All right, that's not the way he moves. He doesn't pivot that way. He likes to lunge left. He doesn't usually scoop under right. I think it's a bad idea. He's never going to go for it. It's not realistic. It's not a Tom Cruise kick.
Tom said he wanted to go with a kick.
I've done 14 films with Tom, all right? So I think I have a pretty good idea of what Tom does or doesn't want to.
How's that kick coming along, huh?
He doesn't think you'd go with a kick.
What? That's...
The way we work is he'll go through sometimes and do the scene, and it's helpful for me because it gives me that outside perspective.
You know what? I think we have too many kicks in the movie, Tom. I mean, I never say to lose face, but I think you got, like how many times can we look at you kicking a guy and then getting kicked in the face? You know what? Kick. Let's call it, let's call it kicking impossible.
You could go.
Let's call it kicking impossible.
He's harmless. He's harmless.
Okay, cut! Out of Tom. Oh! Tom Cruise does most of his own stunts, so he doesn't really need a stunt double. But we make good use of the other Tom Cruise. Harder.
I mean, I'm always thinking, I'm always brainstorming ways to make the fight look better.
You come at angles, he comes right over the hill.
John, I'm sorry, this is a crazy thought. I just got this idea, but what if when Tom jumps off of the bike and when they're both coming at each other, if right before, and this is just something just fooling in my head here, if he turns the camera and goes, this mission, it just got a hell of a lot more impossible. Boom! Then you do the hit. What do you think?
We'll think about it.
Go away.
I mean, a lot of people don't understand Tom. They think of him as being eccentric, a little weird. Some of the people find him a little frightening.
This next shot's gonna be a real bitch, huh?
It shouldn't be that bad.
Nah, probably not that bad. Did you catch that traffic this morning? It was like incredible. bad pileup or something. Did you catch that? No. No? Oh yeah, you had later calls.
He takes his job very seriously. I mean, even if we don't request him for a film, he just shows up.
Respect my penis. And tame my vagina. Or you could use any word there, Tom. I don't know, shorter word for vagina. Vagina kind of makes me all marbled now. I don't know. I think the first time I really knew I wanted to work with you was back, I guess it was back in, TPS, probably. You know?
What's CBS?
Taps.
Well, why didn't you say taps?
I love this guy.
Listen, what people don't realize is that he has been an influence on me, and he has influenced my career in some shape or form. And I appreciate that. Sometimes I go with things, and sometimes I mean, mostly I don't go with things, but sometimes, I don't want to, you never know. Listen, he's harmless.
I would definitely say that Tom's celebrity has affected my life in both good and bad ways. I mean, it's hard for both of us, really. Can you do another? Thanks. I mean, maybe it's a little harder for Tom, but it's probably almost as hard for me. I'll get doubles, all right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little crazy to think about, and that's when we all have to kind of walk away and, stick our heads in the water and just kind of shake them out and then say, wait a minute, what time is it, and where do I go to get lunch? I'm gonna go get a bagel.
Yeah.
You want something?
No, I'm good.
All right, I'll get it.
I'm good.
All right.
All right.
We've worked together for so long now. It's almost like I don't know. It's kind of like we almost finish each other's sentences, kind of.
I don't think we've ever finished each
other's sentences.
Wow, what did you think of the behind the scenes of Mission Impossible 2 Special Edition?
It was good. It was good, Michael.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go upstairs now?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Yeah, it was good, Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about the talking in the background.
That's all right. It was good.
Yeah, no more redo anymore. All right, not too bad.